Welcome back, my friends. My name is Eric. This is Rome, and we're back with some more Star Citizen. We're taking a look at some ships that are available at the moment during the Invictus Fleet Week. These are just some quick walkthroughs. These are ships that have been more or less released this week, and as an Imperator member, which means you have a monthly membership, you get free access to everything for the first week it's been released. And in this case, for Invictus, it appears you get free access for the length of the Invictus Fleet Week, which is actually almost 2 weeks. And behind us, we have the Starlancer TAC. This is one of those ships I've really been looking forward to. It happens to be a dropship combat ship. I think it actually, hold on, we'll check. There's a bug with the hangars, by the way, at the moment, or with the cargo elevators. Let's see, did they just call it combat?
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Last episode, we took a look at the Anvil Asgard, which you can see is listed as a dropship. So let's come on down here to the Starlancer TAC. Hopefully that's what I said earlier. They listed as combat. So not necessarily a dropship, but a combat ship.
You'll please visit us again.
So let us run over here and see what it looks like. Now, we have played with the Starlancer Max. I really like the Starlancer Max as a cargo ship. The split, do you remember you've got a ramp back here and a cargo space back there, and then you have two pods that drop down, well, one big center pod that drops down in the middle here. You can see we no longer have that. We've got this, I guess we probably sit a little bit lower, and we've got our landing gears kind of blocking everything there. Maybe it would have come down right here, but we're going to find out what it's like inside to see how they made the changes from cargo to combat. It looks like we have some rear-facing missile launchers there. That's pretty cool. Get people off your ass there. Is that just a backup camera? Or do we have or is this treated as a rear turret where like a co-pilot can control the missiles in the back? And that would be his camera viewpoint. I'd buy that. I really like the look of these. I don't know if you guys both think this, but this really looks kind of Russian sci-fi to me. Or more accurately, Soviet sci-fi to me. I think that about all the Starlancer and the Freelancer models. I really, really like the look, the aesthetic. So obviously we've got, I did leave a cargo bin out from the last one. It does not appear to have returned, but I do know that this one is a cargo grid right here. So you can put cargo here on the deal. Obviously a lot less room than in the Asgard. You're not going to put the bigger, taller tanks and missile launchers in the back of this. You're going to be looking at something like a Nursa and Ursa, or maybe the new Greycat MTC, that style or size of vehicle, kind of the dune buggy, small APC. You're not looking at getting the taller tanks in the back here. I think this one has more of an access if you're going to use it as a drop ship on I like the windows there a lot. Maybe on a personnel one, we're going to find out. We've got elevators on both sides. I think this is a waste of space. One elevator, and then either just open this up, and then maybe more quarters up top or something like that. We don't need two elevators right across from each other. That makes zero sense at all. Added complexity for the ship, added complexity for the engineer. This just needs to be more space. We do happen to have a fire extinguisher, and I said in the last video, I believe watching some videos from, what is it, tomato something, you say tomato, I say tomato. I can't remember the name of his channel. If you look Star Citizen Tomato, it will come up, I guarantee. It's a very good channel. And maybe Dig That 32 is the other one. They've been talking about the new patch, 4.2. And it looks like maybe fire and engineering is closer. Maybe we'll get some of that in the next patch. So know where your fire extinguishers are is all I'm saying. We have a great medical bay here, which I love. This is awesome. So this was in kind of the middle, right above our big landing gears, I think. And then when we go into here, we have our actual drop ship section. So again, more of an emphasis on personnel drop and less on vehicle. You do happen to have one of these, you do have your Once again, how badass is that? You do have your door gunner here, but he has a very limited range, right? You don't have a whole lot of field of fire on this. Obviously, you've got your engine or part of your ship. I think that's part of the engine there, up there. So, you know, not a whole lot of range that you're going to be able to get to here, but that's okay. That's okay because we have a turret right next to it, which is going to provide much better access. So I would say maybe on the way in, you've got a dude, you've got one of these dropship guys, hops up, handles the gun as the doors come in, and you come in for a landing, helps clear the space out, and then all 8 people skedaddle out their side doors and off to do what they need to do. Meanwhile, right here, you happen to have your turret gunners for either side. And we zoom out here, and you can see here, and I really like the way that everything's marked so nicely here on this one. Switch fire mode. What is there? Oh, that's cool. As you switch back and forth, it just does one. So let's go back to switch fire mode now. Now they both go. Cool. So you can see you have a much better range of fire here. So this is going to be the dude that can provide all of that support. Look how far back he can shoot. So as they're coming running out here and they're blind that way, you can start putting shots out here to keep people's heads down as they come out, and then they can cover them as they want. So this is going to be where you really start to cover those dudes coming out the bay. But also you have all that access to shoot forward, up, down. Really nice range of fire there for those. So if you have a couple gunners in this, you'll be able to lay down some fire. Now, I have seen a little bit of video on this, and my understanding is kind of the firepower is a little bit underwhelming in reality when you actually start taking this thing out and taking it into kind of ship-to-ship combat. So, as always on the Starlancer, we have our elevator here, we've got a ladder here, and we have our docking collar right here to get in and out. We have our armory up here, which in this case is literally just an armory. It is just room for suits of armor. Obviously, this is a lot more crude than the Anvil Asgard, which we looked at last time. We've got 8 suits here. So now, whether those 8 suits are just meant for those 8 guys, or whether we truly want 8 kind of crew members, we've obviously got 2 turret gunners and a pilot here. I'm just going to take the elevator up. Or the ladder up instead of the elevator. Save us a little bit of time. We'll go back here. We've got a lovely crew space back here. Really nice. We've got a bathroom here, you know, for you know, the galley slash, you know, mess area. We do happen to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guns and 4 pistols here. So 4 long guns, 4 pistols, and 2 heavy guns, it looks like there. Bathroom here, another one. And then we've got crew seating for 8. So we are legitimately looking, and lockers for 8. So we are looking at a crew of 8 on this ship. So I'm assuming we've got back here some sort, I think this is actually a hangar. What was that? Oh, the elevators. So these are the 2 elevators. Again, we don't need both elevators. We just need one or the other. And again, you can see we do have a fair amount of space here, and you do happen to have a hangar right here. So this is more of an all kind of everything ship, right? We've got a hangar, we've got dropship, we've got some cargo, we've got some vehicle, but pretty heavily crewed. But this would be a great kind of guild ship, right? For or you know, corporation. You know, you could have a small fighter that comes out here that either you use to get into. Maybe you're doing hangars out of this and you don't want to have to walk or drive in. You'd rather fly a lot closer in. You might be able to get away with that, you know, depending on what the terrain is on the area. Or potentially, you know, space. Again, you could have, you know, 4 or 5 hover bikes here that would... I don't know if the hover bikes can get out the top with the gravity. Obviously, once you get out into space, you're probably better off flying those out the back. But, you know, you have a small shuttle, small travel ship, small combat ship that could potentially fit in here. I don't know how big you can fit in here, but it's here. So there's that. Let's go all the way back. Obviously, we've got our engineering spaces back here, and we do have our engines and our engineering terminal here. Quantum drive, so component access. Do you see a fire? Oh, there's a fire extinguisher right there. So there's our fire extinguisher for the back. So here's your engineering space here. So far we've got one engineer, two gunners, a pilot for that, right? So that gets us up to 4 crew members. So whatever the pilot is for the small ship. So what do we have if we move up front? Head towards the cockpit. Four escape pods up here. That's how many people are actually expected to escape. All right, and these are our other 4 seats. So you are another remote turret. Where do you go? Enter remote turret. All right, so you are top front, right? Yeah. So this is the top front gunner turret. All right. So let's get out of that, and now let's go ahead and see what the dude is across. I believe these windows close as well. Yep. All right, so let's go into our remote turret. So this is the back. Okay. And I assume, can this guy... hold on, let's go... Oh, power on. Can he toggle thrusters, remote turret, guns? I forget how to change between guns and stuff. Like I said, I haven't played in a few weeks, and I've just like complete brain dumped all of the commands in this game. It is just kicking my ass. What do we do to switch between a flight mode wheel? Is that all I'm looking for? To switch between potentially guns and missiles is what I'm looking for. Yeah. Well, that's between our guns. I don't know if this guy can control missiles or not on the back there. Well, I apologize. My general gunnery stuff here has left me. Obviously, this is how we change between our gunnery groups. With the mouse wheel. And then TU cycle position. I don't think that's what I want. We want to go between... master modes is B. I don't want fire mode? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm assuming this is the dude that's going to have to control the missiles and back. That's all I'm saying. I just don't remember how to do it. Forgive me. This is one of those games that has so much stuff, and then when you go to play a few other things, like everything just overrides itself, right? So again, we've got a little bit of a component here. We've got a computer. We've got radar. We've got another fire extinguisher right there. Let's go ahead and hop into the co-pilot seat and see what the co-pilot has. I assume they have something as well. So what do we've got? We've got exit, remote turret. We'll see what their remote turret is. Ah, they're the missiles. Look at that. Yep, we were right initially. They've got the 2 missiles and this little camera right here, this little backup camera. This is them, right? So we can, there we go, figured it out. We were right the first time. I shouldn't have second-guessed myself. So we have 2 top turrets, 2 side turrets, a co-pilot with a rear turret, engineering, a shuttle pilot, and then your regular pilot. And if it's just us in here, let's make sure everything is on. How many guns do we have access to? I'm assuming the 2 side ones. Do we also get the top if there's nobody in it? No, we just get the two sides. We do not get the top gun. Okay. Well, here, as long as we're here. Up. Let's go ahead and put the landing gear in. Do we have any sort of VTOL or transformation? Doesn't look like it. Do like the engines on it too. Very Millennium Falcon, right? With that big wide one on the back there. Put that back down. And this is the Starlancer. Let me verify that. Starlancer TAC. Yes, Starlancer TAC. Got it. Got it in one. I instantly second guessed myself. Combat ship. Now, I think it's more of a drop ship than a combat ship. But it clearly has a lot of combat capability. It has a lot of guns on it. How useful those guns will be, that's anybody's guess. It is a ship, though, that is going to require a crew. Obviously. So much of its firepower is turrets that you don't have control of, right? You've just got those two side guns there. Obviously, the rear missiles, the two top turrets and the two side turrets all are going to require crew. So it is... Does it need 8? No, but you probably want 3 or 4 to kind of start to let this feel its way. So until we get NPC, until we start to get NPC gunners and that sort of stuff, this one I think is probably going to be a bit of a niche unless you just want something cool to run bunkers with or to use as a dropship. Obviously, if you're just going to bring it as a dropship, you could just pilot it with one dude. Realistically, maybe one other turret gunner to cover whatever side you're going to land on, to give a little covering fire for the drop people. But realistically, I think this is going to be something that you're going to want to have as a crewed. I would say if it's just you flying around, I would say the Anvil Asgard, which we looked at last episode, is probably a better bet. Give me just a second to look to see what they cost, and maybe that'll make a difference for you. All right, the Asgard is $350 and has 180 SCU cargo space. All right. The Starlancer TAC is $375, so there's a $25 difference, and it has 96 SCU. I would say for a solo pilot or somebody that just is randomly going to run with maybe 1 or 2 friends, I would say the Asgard's better. The Starlancer, I think, is definitely I think this is a more crewed ship. If you're going to be, I don't mean crewed as in rough, although maybe the Soviet look kind of gives it that idea. You know, the fact that it's you know, but I don't think it. I don't. That's not what I'm trying to say though. I think crewed is in CREWED. This is if you've got 5, 6, 7, 8 dudes or gals, dudettes, that you're playing with. This would be a really fun ship for everybody to get in together. Everybody can take part in combat. There's some place for everybody to sit. If you want to go do bunkers, you come in hard, you drop everybody off, you run in. You want to do some PvP, you want to play in Pyro and keep everybody together. This is probably a really good ship for that. Whereas if you're one guy, you want a ship that kind of does it all. You could do bunkers, you could do cargo with that 165. You could easily do that. Yeah, I think that's my thoughts on that. So, thanks for watching, guys. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you next time. Cheers.